Question. What's the cheapest phone out there? Right now. Voy a comprarme un teléfono móvil. What's the cheapest? Quiero el más barato de todos. What's the cheapest phone out there? Ahí fuera. Quiero decir por ahí en el mercado. Disponible en el mercado. What's the cheapest? Cheapest. Digo cheapest y most cheap because cheap is one syllable. What's the cheapest phone out there ahora mismo? Right now. And the most expensive? What's the most expensive? And what about the most expensive one? What about? ¿Y del más caro? ¿Qué? ¿También hay? ¿Qué hay por ahí? Out there. What's the most expensive phone out there? What's the cheapest phone out there right now? And what about the most expensive? What about? Okay. Eso lo vamos a ver ahora. Vamos a ver durante esta próxima clase con Hannah. And I'm sure it will be clear for you. And what about the other classes? We'll see.
Hello, and welcome again to another class. Are you ready? Bien, empezamos ya. What's the cheapest phone out there right now? And what about the most expensive one? Ahora la traducción. ¿Cuál es el teléfono más barato en el mercado ahora mismo? ¿Y el más caro? Okay, let's look at the first part, la primera parte. What's the cheapest phone? Primero, contracción con what is. What's. Repeat. What's. Muy bien. Ahora, the cheapest phone. ¿Qué forma es esta? Ya la vimos. It's the superlative. Muy bien. What's the cheapest phone? Now, ojo, cuidado. No decimos the more cheap or the more cheaper. Eso es un error muy típico. Very common mistake. So, more examples. We have the cheapest printer. Traducción. Tenemos la impresora más barata. Printer. La palabra del día. Repeat. Printer. Muy bien. He uses the cheapest gas. Él utiliza la gasolina más barata. She buys the cheapest tickets. Ella compra las entradas más baratas. So repeat. What's the cheapest phone? So keep practicing. See you in a few.
What's the cheapest pen? What's the cheapest pen? Decimos what's the cheapest y no what's the cheaper. El más barato. The cheapest. Repeat after me. What's the cheapest pen? Perfect. What's the cheapest pen? Sarah! What's the cheapest pen? Da igual. Me los llevo todos. What's the cheapest bed? What's the cheapest bed? Da igual. I'll take 5 of them. What's the cheapest phone? Sarah! What's the cheapest phone? This one. Perfect. I'll take 10 of them. What's the cheapest guitar? What's the cheapest guitar? Da igual. I'll take 10.
Ok, ahora con la segunda parte. Empezamos. What's the cheapest phone out there right now? And what about the most expensive one? Traducción. ¿Cuál es el teléfono más barato en el mercado ahora mismo? ¿Y el más caro? So, la segunda parte es la expresión out there right now. Hay dos partes en realidad. Out there significa en el mercado. Ok, so repeat. Out there, en el mercado. Después, right now. Ahora mismo, right now. Ok, so, todos juntos, out there right now. En el mercado ahora mismo. Ejemplos. What's the cheapest phone out there right now? What's the cheapest television out there right now? What's the cheapest camera out there right now? What's the cheapest printer out there right now? Printer es la palabra del día. ¿Qué significa? Impresora, muy bien. So what's the cheapest printer out there right now? I have the best computer out there right now. Tengo el mejor ordenador en el mercado ahora mismo. He uses the best golf clubs out there right now. Él usa los mejores palos de golf en el mercado ahora mismo. So out there right now.
Hi, Destiny. How are you?
Oh, hello, April.
I need your advice.
Okay.
What are the cheapest shoes out there right now?
Okay, let's see. The cheapest shoes out there right now.
Ya no me importa. What are the cheapest boots out there right now?
Thank you very much. Well, the cheapest boots. Let's see. The cheapest boots out there right now. ¿Qué hay en estos momentos? The cheapest boots out there right now. The cheapest boots out there.
What is the cheapest phone out there right now?
Well, let's see. The cheapest phone. The cheapest phone out there right now. The cheapest phone.
Olvídalo. You're too slow.
Okay, now terminamos la clase. Let's finish the class. But first, review the sentence with me. What's the cheapest phone out there right now? And what about the most expensive one? ¿Cuál es el teléfono más barato en el mercado ahora mismo? ¿Y el más caro? So the last part is the most expensive one, el más caro. Now notice we're using que. Again, the superlative, the most expensive, el más caro. Metemos aquí the most, artículo the, después most, después adjetivo simple. The most expensive. No decimos the more expensive. Aquí superlativo, the most expensive, porque expensive tiene varias sílabas. The most expensive one. ¿Qué significa ese one? Es un pronombre. Repeat, one. One. The most expensive one, el más caro. More examples. The most interesting one, el más interesante. The most popular one, el más popular. The most beautiful one, el más bello o el más hermoso. So let's look at sentences. I have the most expensive one. Tengo el más caro. What's the cheapest phone out there right now? And what about the most expensive one? See you next time.
Steve, I need your help. I've asked everyone and no one knows. I have to know, what is the cheapest phone out there right now?
April, how will I know what the cheapest phone out there right now is?
Okay, well, another question. What is the most expensive phone out there right now?
April, I work in the information center. How do I know what the most expensive phone is or the cheapest phone? She wants to know what the cheapest phone is out there right now. Not the more cheap, the cheapest. How do I know what the cheapest phone is?
Okay, another question. A piano, Steve. What is the cheapest piano out there right now?
April, you don't play the piano.
But I want a piano, Steve. I want a piano.
Well, I don't know what the cheapest piano out there right now is, okay? And I don't know what the cheapest mobile out there right now is, okay? Enough questions.
What? But Steve, no.
How do I know what the cheapest piano, mobile, or most expensive phone is out there right now? I don't know.